early morning, can't control it. Fired up and counting every minute. Hands are shaking, eyes are burning. The time has come, yeah, this is not a warning. The week was just so long, we had to let it go. Our problems disappeared, we're not tied up anymore. The weekend is here. Sunday calls, we are sick and tired of it. Up and down, can you feel it?
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Kurt Johansson Show, formerly known as Kurt's Angle Podcast. If you didn't see all the announcements over social media, the show's been rebranded. Kurt's Angle is still going to be a segment moving forward, but we're here with the Kurt Johansson Show. Make sure you head over to @Kurt Johansson Show to see all the updates if you didn't see them. Really excited to be working with Fierce Females moving forward as an interviewer and a presenter doing their Fierce Females Focus show. So kickstarting the Kurt Johansson Show, I'm going to be using 4 interviews that I recorded and didn't release under the Kurt's Angle name. These were recorded also before the Speaking Out movement, which saw so many brave people come forward about the horrible experiences they've had within the wrestling industry, and hopefully that movement is going to change professional wrestling forever. Like, there's no space for it. So if any of these topics that we do discuss as well, I hope nobody's affected by these, but hopefully you can enjoy these 4 interviews, one with Emily Hayden, Joel Redman, Adrian Gomez from MKW in China, and Joey Seven. I would like to welcome you to my interview with my wrestle pal, Emily Hayden. It was this interview that me and Emily, we clicked, we became friends, and we've decided to do a monthly show that's going to be called Wrestle Pals, that will be coming in the near future, where we talk about gaming, TV shows, films, even wrestling. But now, here's my fantastic interview with one of the brightest stars in professional wrestling, who's making names in the Scottish scene, Emily Hayden. Today, got a special guest, I think a woman of so many names, you know, as Wrestle Beach, Emily Two Belts, but she doesn't have the 2 belts in the background actually, so I think somebody might have taken them off her.
Hold on, I will go get them just now. They're actually sitting right beside me. It's just I've switched it around for my shot. There we go. There's one. And there's 2.
There we go, Emily Two. I just like how those in reaching distance, just like you've had your lunch and they're next to your plate or whatever, and just carry them around everywhere.
My afternoon nap, you know, I just like to snug belts just so they know that I'm there.
But yeah, so you know, as Wrestle Beach, Emily Two Belts, the best, the beaut, and the only, as she'd call herself. It's Emily Hayden. Emily, thank you for joining.
Hey, Beach.
Hey, Beach. So, you know what? Before we get into your career, I want to get into the Wrestle Beach stuff. Like, you put beach at the end of everything, and I'm guessing it's just a more politically correct way than saying bitch. So,
also which I recently learned.
So how did you come up with that? Because you've got quite an online presence in your own video content.
Well, you mean the whole Wrestle Beach concept?
Yeah.
Well, here we go. So for those of you that don't know, I am a massive Jenna Marbles fan. And if you don't know Jenna Marbles, shame on you.
My fiance is obsessed with her. Yeah.
Yes.
I actually, over at Ringsiders, I ended up using one of their concepts of "Don't Even Get Me Started," and there'd be me, Callum, and Jamie, and I was explaining all about "Don't Even Get Me Started" to them too, and we was just doing random topics, and the video was hilarious. We're all just losing our shit. But yeah, so carry on.
So I'm a massive Jenna Marbles fan, and it was one of those things. It's one of the things that me and my best friend watched together. I met Ashley, in fact, through wrestling. That's my best friend.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she's retired now. But that became our thing, where every week we would sit and watch Jenna Marbles together. And then we would just call each other Beach after that. So it's like, Beach, you never guess what? Beach, Beach. And then I think I messaged her one day after a show, because I always message her when I'm on my way home and that, so she was okay. And I was like, I think I debuted for Full Tilt at this point.
Okay.
So it's a long drive. And I said, oh, Beach, that's me on my way home. And she says, Wrestle Beach with debuts. It was really my friend to come up with it. And I was like, Wrestle Beach, I like that. I'm calling myself that.
And you've kind of gone off like onto quite a lot of different video content and stuff like that. Is that something mainly just because, pandemic, lockdown, or is it something you've always wanted to do, hence being a big Marvels fan?
Well, it's always something that I've always wanted to do. It was the Ask Advice speech thing came about totally by accident, if I'm being honest. But for about, I think, 2 years now, I was talking about doing gaming content, and it was just always maybe I didn't have the money to get the equipment, or things kept getting in the way. And then the pandemic happened, and
Yep.
thought, what a better time to get some content on the go.
What games are your go-to games at the moment that you like doing?
Oh, if you've got time to sit down, I'll give you like a long list. So my go-to games, one of my all-time favourite games is Final Fantasy VII. So I've
Yep.
recently just played the remake of that. Funnily enough, that's actually my first YouTube video that's going up for my gaming content.
Okay.
And yeah, so I've been playing that. What was the other one that I was playing the other day? And we recently just played Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time again. That was
Yep.
the ever stream one.
No, I love Zelda. I think it was one that I used to play back on like the SNES and the NES, and I didn't really play the N64 stuff. I didn't really touch Nintendo 64s, but as soon as they started making them for like the DS, I ended up buying a 3DS. I was like, right, getting that, getting Mario, getting Pokemon. And I'm just sat there, and the fiance just like, what are you doing? Catching Pikachu.
Like my boyfriend is obsessed with Pokemon. Like he still plays Pokemon Go. Anytime we go out a walk, it's 2 seconds. I need to get battled at his gym. Okay.
At least he's got good taste in games and stuff like that. Is there any games that you've not really played as much, or like Last of Us 2 that's dropping out this month, or?
Oh, I know. Funnily enough, I was actually talking about that one because a couple of people in the stream were asking if I would play it. Thank goodness me and the boyfriend, because he'd never played the first one, so we actually played at the start of lockdown, so now he appreciates the game.
Yeah.
And so in terms of games that I've not really had a chance to play, well, I've actually got Man of Medan sitting in there.
Okay.
So I've been dying to play that because I love my horror movies and video games.
Yeah.
So, love Resident Evil. I still play Resident Evil remake, and
Yeah.
that's my favourite out the series, the original. I mean,
It was. I played Resident Evil 3 when it came. I actually booked time off work for Resident Evil 2 remake come out. Resident Evil 3. I'd book days off work just to be like, right. Because I only play it now and again, especially with a fiance. So I thought, right, if I've got time off work, that's maximising my time to get through it. And the remakes have been absolutely incredible. I think there were certain things in the third one that got changed, and certain landmarks that didn't really go out there. And I was like, But overall, I'm just hoping the remake Code Veronica now, because I think that's a very underrated game.
Oh my goodness, me and my brother were talking about that. We're dying for a Code Veronica remake. We were saying if there's any other remakes that are going to come out, it better not be 4 because that's more recent.
That got announced.
I
think they're remaking 4 because I think, will it be 8 that'll be the next one? Yeah.
8's the next one.
Yeah, the 8's going to be...
By the way.
Adam?
Did you see the concept for Resident Evil 8 apparently?
I think a lot of it's a bit similar to 4 as well, I believe, and I think that's why they're probably remaking 4 just to get people
talking about
the
concept. Yeah, because it's like they're introducing werewolves, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Werewolves?
Werewolves, yeah.
Oh, I didn't read that bit. I don't. That's a new take. I don't know.
Because I absolutely love 7. Which was the one that got mixed reviews. because it was my brother, in fact, that got me into the Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
And then he was sitting and he's ranting about it. And he's like, "This game is terrible. It is nothing like compared to the original game." And that way, I kind of take my brother's word as gospel for Resident Evil. I don't really like it. Played it, ended up loving it. Reminded me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, even Fred. So very
Yeah.
happy with it. Took it back to the old horror roots. So very happy.
Yeah, I liked it. It was less away from action. I think
Yeah.
on 7, especially 6 as well. I didn't mind 6. I didn't mind the story because they brought back Albert Wesker.
Yeah.
But it was very, if you've got your guns and your ammo, it's easy. Whereas this was where I'm scared to turn a corner just in case the guy's there running at you. So nah, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, Resident Evil 3 is really good. And I just can't wait for Last of Us 2 now. I think I've done the first one 6 or 7 times. And I wish I used to do all this content when I used to play it, because I completed it a couple of times. Thought, right, I'm going to get back to it, and completed it without dying. So I thought, okay, I'll do the next level. Did it again without dying. My friend was like, right, just go on the hardest one. So I looked at some YouTubers. I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. And certain bits that would take like 10 minutes would take me about 50 minutes because I'm going really slow. I think my first ever bit of media that I posted on Twitter was a video of when you're going down the lift, and I pause it, shows 0 kills on the hardest difficulty, and I think that's my my biggest achievement. The the fiance would walk in the living room, because at the time I was in the flat, so it's really small. And she's like, "I'm sure I've seen this scene like 3 or 4 times recently." I was like, "It's my third time playing it through," and she was just like,
Well done, though, and the no kills. Well done.
"Yeah." So I'm excited for 2, but I'm like, what if they've like revamped it so good and there's so much pressure of like everybody's like, "Oh, you're getting 2, like I can't wait to see how well you do on it." And I'm like, watch me be shit. Like I've been sat playing like Modern Warfare and stuff like that recently, not as much these games. So I'm like, oh, give me a chance, but I'll get back to it.
Oh, I really can't wait for the second one. I know for a fact I'll turn on the stream and play it, and then I'll crack under the pressure and just constantly die.
Yeah, I think that's what would probably happen to me, to be honest. So it's one of those where I've been that excited for it. I've not read any. I've not even watched a trailer on it, because I'm like, nope, I want to go in blind and just enjoy the game. Just yeah, let's see what happens.
That was me with the Final Fantasy VII remake. Anytime anyone said anything about it, like, no, I'm not looking into it. I want to be surprised. It's a remake. I know I'm going to get original content.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised.
No, good. I've heard some great stuff. I've never really played Final Fantasy, and I don't know why. I think there's that many games. I was like, I don't know where to start. Like, I've enjoyed games similar like Devil May Cry and stuff where you are doing. I've got all of those on the PlayStation, but it's like I wouldn't. Where shall I start with Final Fantasy?
Well, I can give you my breakdown of top 5. So there's Final Fantasy VII, the original, Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy IX. I'm actually looking at them all. Final Fantasy X, and then actually 15 I really enjoyed as well. So I would play those. Yeah, I would recommend those ones to start off with.
Yeah,
Ones.
I'll have to jump in and try and get them. Anyways, this is a wrestling podcast. So for those of you that haven't tuned out because you thought this was going to be a wrestling interview and we've just been talking about games for the past 10 minutes. Yeah, so it is Kurt's Angle Podcast, a wrestling podcast, and with the double champ in Emily. So what made you decide you wanted to do professional wrestling? Like, hey, I want to go get slammed on a mat for the rest of my life.
Well, you know, because me and my brother would do that all the time. No, no, growing up, funnily enough, as I mentioned, my brother, it was my brother and my dad that got me into wrestling. I was a bit of a tomboy growing up, so I didn't really. Granted, yes, I would play with Barbies, but I would more act out like the Dark Phoenix saga from X-Men with them rather than actually play Barbie. But yeah, so I I started watching wrestling about the age of 3, and I remember watching back and forth Rock as Jericho, and I was like, oh wow, this is totally entertaining. So I got in for the entertainment aspect of that, and then first time I was listening to Shida, and she went to the top rope and she hit her moonsault. Wow, Jericho's can do this too. So that kind of gave me the inspiration, I guess, to be like, well, he can do that, I can do that. But because all you would ever see on TV was WWE, WCW, I used to think, oh, you need to go to America to like a wrestler. I didn't know about a wrestling school at my doorstep, you know.
Yeah.
So the moment that I did, that was me. I think that was a sign that I had to go and give it a go, and the best decision that I ever made.
Not looked back since. So how old was you when you found the wrestling school? And who was it that was training you?
17 years old. So nearly 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a baby beach at the time.
Baby
Uh,
bitch.
But when I looked into the school, I was in college at the time, and it was one of the boys in the class told me about it, because he overheard me and some of the other guys talking about the SummerSlam pay-per-view of that year,
Yeah.
and he said to me, "Oh, do you like wrestling?" And I was like, "Yeah." The guy just trying to stand me up. And then he was like, "Did you know about the PBW Academy?" Right away, I'm like, "Whoa, where's this?" And he told me about the Airdrie School, which at the time was a leisure centre, which I used to stay around the corner from it. So I'm like, this is definitely a sign that I have to go. So it took me a little while to build up to it because I was very shy.
Yeah.
I would always find a reason to put it off, and then eventually I did. That was when I met my coach, the man at their age. So that was to train me first of all.
Wow. So what was the first step, like first training session like then? You've seen it on screen and you hear it all the time. Oh, wrestling. It's all padding, it's like trampolines, and it isn't. Not one bit. So what was it like when you've done that first like slam and when you thought, actually, yeah, I can do this?
Well, funnily enough, my first session I actually sat and watched because I was that shy. The teacher asked me, "You take a part today?"
I'm just picturing you stood in a corner like
Yeah, I'm standing in the corner, like sitting with them. And then at the end of that session, like TJ let me sit and watch the session, and he turned around to me, and it was that moment I'll never forget where he turned to me and he asked, "Was this something you do?" And I was like, "Yes, 100%." So I was determined that I was going to overcome my shyness and anxiety, and I was going to take part. To answer your previous question, oh my god, the first month was terrifying. I thought my soul left my body.
yeah.
Honestly, so for those of you that train with me and watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So the mats that we had, we trained mats at the PW Academy. Kid Fight always has always said that getting to training brings privilege, and you earn that by paying your dues, and then maybe a couple hours before a show starts, after you build up before a show starts, sorry, after you
Yeah.
build up the ring, that's when we get ring training. So we earn that. Honestly, I quite like that. Because it makes you more determined to pay your dues that way. And so yeah, the mats that we have, I don't know if you had them in your school, but it was like the judo mats, like the gym mats,
Yeah.
and they were like solid. It was like ones that you would just do like rolls and stuff on in school, and you had to bump on those. You had one layer, another layer, and you were expected to bump on those, and every time you bumped, you got winded. Safe to say, everyone from original Airdrie, I call us, we are conditioned for bumps
Yeah.
on the floor, outside. But yeah, So that was my first experience with bumps. So in my body. And
Yeah.
the crash mat as well. I thought, oh, this just popped in my head. The crash mat had no air in it. You were better off just bumping on the floor. And I had
Ouch.
to go and learn my bumps.
Because the worst thing as well, you're like, it's a crash mat. It's gonna be a little bit more comfier. So you've got it in the mind, right? This ain't gonna hurt as much. And then if there's no air in it, actually, I'd prefer to brace just doing it on the concrete.
I remember like when I was going onto the crash mat to learn my bumps, and Matt Tyson, I'll be fine. And I did my first bump. So yeah, 5 minutes, and I'm sitting there with my head, like my hand, my head like this.
Yeah, it definitely takes the wind out of it. So moving on to like your career, so you've taken those bumps, and what was that first match like for you then? When they're like, right, you're this shy little girl that again, first day at training, you just stood in the corner like, I'm not doing anything, nope, and then it's right, you're doing a match in front of a live paying audience. What was that like for you?
Scary. And it was my first ever match in the crowd was the trainee show at Attack. So that's where you'll wrestle in front of your friends and family. Fighto always says, it's less pressure doing it in front of one people. It's not. It's more terrifying because I knew my dad, the person that got me into wrestling, was in the crowd waiting to see me wrestle. So yeah, the anxiety was real that day, and I remember sitting backstage and just my heart was thumping, bum, bum, bum. And I tried to calm myself down. Believe it or not, I was actually a baby face on my debut as well, so that's totally unlike me. And yeah, petrifying. When I got out there though, it was okay, but it was just the adrenaline starting to build up,
Yeah.
anxiety over it, and then when I got through the part, I was okay. Granted, the match didn't quite go to plan. There were a couple of botches here and there, thanks to yours truly, but we got there in the end.
Now, how do you bounce back from that then? Because I do a lot of series with people that are still in their academy. They might have had 6, 7 matches, and to give them the experience of like the interviews. But how do you bounce back from that daunting thing where something's not gone right and you've got to finish the match, or that second time where you're going out next time and all you can think about is, oh, I messed this up last time?
Well, for me, it was one of those ones where I kind of just had to learn it on the job, I guess. That's the best way to put it. So after I'd done a good couple of matches, I started noticing this trend where it would be maybe, oh, we're switching it up because maybe the crowd's reacting differently, or oh, this person's forgot their spot, or I forgot my spot, let's be honest. So we had to change it up that way. And I always tell this story. I was on a tour. I believe it was around about the Highlands of Scotland.
Okay.
For WPL. And it was myself and Debbie Sharp, and we were wrestling each other all weekend. And it was from wrestling Debbie where I really just learned to have fun with my matches.
Yeah.
Like, we went out and we just had to carry on, and we were like proper laughing and everything during it. And then because we were laughing that hard, we kind of forgot what was coming next. We had to feel a little bit off the cuff. And it was after that weekend where I had the epiphany: don't plan everything. Nothing's going to go right. And I just need to accept that and have fun. So the day that I learned just have fun and go with it was, I would say, probably the best day in terms of my in-ring career.
Yeah. What about the reception from crowds? Like, not everybody act how they should. You get some absolute, let's say, bitches, not even beaches. We won't even give them that courtesy. I like my local show. It's a family-friendly show, and you still have grown men doing derogatory comments to the females that are in front, whilst kids are sat around next to them, and I don't care. I just call the person out, and it's not right. And you can see the person's trying to stay in character and not confront this person, which she should confront him, to be honest. How have you coped with that? Have you had any derogatory comments or like sexual comments towards you whilst in the ring that are uncalled for?
Oh yeah, a lot. I've had a lot. I can rhyme off. I don't know. I've lost count of the amount of times that I've had, whether it be a derogatory comment or an insult of some sort, which I'll get into momentarily. So I distinctly remember this. It was in my hometown, and I came out, it was in my entrance, and trying to get a little bit of heat. And there was this guy, and like you say, surrounded by kids at a family friendly show, surrounded by kids. And he made this really crude comment. I don't know if I should repeat it for the podcast, but he made this really crude comment, basically about my assets, we'll say. And yeah, there's been situations where I've, like you say, I've tried to stay in character, or if it's just really ridiculously crude, then I've actually just confronted them, and I've said, "Be mine. There's kids around you. If you've got something to say, don't say it." I've also let out the whole, "I'm a wrestler just like the guys, so I can put you down on your seat just like the guys." But yeah, I've had a lot of horrible derogatory comments, and I hate it. Like, I know a lot of people always say, "Oh, that's what comes with the business," and that, but no,
it shouldn't.
Like, we're trying to be treated the same as the guys, so you don't see the guys getting derogatory comments like, "Oh, look at Randy Orton in his tight trunks," you know.
I mean, sometimes you do get that. I've seen, but I think it does happen a lot more for female athletes. They constantly like degraded on maybe what they're wearing, or it'll work the other way around if some may be more conservative with their attire. It's like, well, why are you doing that? Like, show more skin, and it isn't on, and I think it is a big problem in wrestling, along with the racism, and that's the reason why I wanted to ask that question, because I'd seen Big T, he posted on Twitter on about that at a show he was getting called, "You're a shit Mark Henry," and he was like, well, first of all, I'm like, to look at, they're nothing like, different size, different build, different wrestling styles. So the only way he could think why that chant was coming was because of it's one person's black, the other person's black. So he climbed out the ring and confronted the person to where he's done the "I'm joking," and it was for him getting out the ring and confronting the person on that. He posted that he got in trouble at that show from management behind the scenes. He got in trouble for defending himself. Have you had any conflict like that when you've called somebody out for being a pig?
Well, no, I've never really gotten any trouble out of it, because I can just kind of play it off as
my character.
You know? But there was actually an incident at the show, and I distinctly remember this. It was Reckless Intent, and it was myself, Sammy Joe. So Sammy's watching; she can vouch for me. And we were about to wrestle, and there was this one man in the crowd just up, and he was saying so many derogatory things. I believe he made like a comment about like a brand handles match or something like that as well. And to the extent where myself and Sammy would stop what we were doing, and we just refused to do anything. We thought we were going to get in trouble off the for it, but he didn't say anything. He like, rightfully so. If the guy's just going to interrupt what you're trying to do out there, then yeah, stop what you're doing. So we had like a peaceful protest in the ring where we just stood and didn't do anything. And we're like, nah, not going to do anything until you stop. And then after the show, the guy actually came up to me, because I was helping load the ring into the van. And the guy came up to me, and he was being so lecherous. Like, he was trying to touch me, and he was wanting to hug me. He was using the whole, "Oh, I'm sorry about what I said," as an excuse to try and talk to me.
Yeah.
And when I kept saying to him, "Go away and leave me alone," he wouldn't. to the extent where when I looked round, I saw like, Mikey Whiplash just watching the background, like he's got tables, like ready to step in.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I know. And a few of the other boys just kind of are standing around just watching. They're all just like this, like watching.
Nah, it's good to know that the company had your back for your little peaceful protest, and so did the guys. But it is like people have to be careful, especially the wrestlers, because, like you said, at the end of the show, the person's then coming up trying to touch, and they're thinking it's a right and it's a given. You've seen it in. I'm sure you've seen all the pictures online where it shows the female athletes where they're having to clench the fist because some fans just hugging her as if, like, half the time you wouldn't even hug your missus like that. Like
the infamous Becky Lynch photo, for example.
Yeah.
Oh, that just makes me cringe so much whenever I see that photo.
Yeah, it's wrong in a way, and it's a shame that you guys do have to put up with it, and that's what I wanted to kind of go into as well with like the mental health side of things. I know you did a show on that recently, especially with Hannah Kimura committing suicide because of all the cyberbullying that she had going on, and you see it every day with people, whether it's burner accounts or just people deleting tweets where they're saying such derogatory comments just because they might not like somebody's in-ring style or anything that's going on. Like, what's your thoughts on that and how social media is?
Well, I said it in a tweet before, but I'll say it again. Social media is toxic, and I think people think just because they're in front of a screen, that they're in front of a keyboard, they can say whatever they want. And especially to wrestlers, I think there seems to be this mentality amongst fans. Sorry, like fans, because you know, like genuine fans wouldn't do that. But there seems to be this mentality, that this wolfpack mentality, that if they don't like something, then they're just going to keep harassing you for it. As you say, they're going to leave derogatory comments, they're going to leave insults, and all I have to really say to that is people need to bear in mind that the words carry so much meaning, and it can tear a person up and it can tear a person down. We should really think before we say anything, and especially with wrestlers. I know I keep saying especially with wrestlers, but I feel like people have this mentality of wrestlers or people within the wrestling community that because we do these amazing stunts and crazy things in the ring, that we're like real life superheroes, yes, but we need to bear in mind at the end of the day we're only human. So if you're giving us insults, we're feeling that. If you're giving us compliments as well, we're feeling that too. At the end of the day, we're human and we feel.
Look at yourself in the mirror, like your own imperfections, because, like you said, we are only human, and things can get said out of the heat of the moment or misinterpreted. But mental health needs to be something treated a lot better. And social media is. If I didn't do this podcast, I probably wouldn't have social media, to be honest, because it's bad.
Yeah, funnily enough, I always say that in terms of wrestling. If it wasn't for wrestling, I would not have social media. I don't need that negativity in my life. Like I've had a couple of people where they'll actually comment on like a photo, and it's not even like as if I've put up like a sexy photo. I guess like it's literally just maybe like there was one, I think it was like a selfie of myself and Rosie Knight, and we were on the plane coming back from Ireland, and people are leaving like derogatory comments on it, and I just don't see the point. I've also had comments about like my weight and whatnot as well, which I think should never be brought up, especially when you don't know what the person's been through. So as we previously discussed, like mental health and whatnot, like I suffered for a very long time from an eating disorder, and fun enough, I always say wrestling saved my life in that aspect, because I suffer from bulimia. And if it wasn't for discovering wrestling in my hometown, I wouldn't have gotten help. I wouldn't have thought I need to get fit so that I can do this passion of mine. And So I think it was roughly about 2 years ago. I put on weight due to depression. I think I went up about like 2 3 stone. So I was a big girl, and there's
Yeah.
absolutely nothing wrong with that. But for me, I just didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. After that, I felt very insecure, and I was wrestling on a show one day, and I believe it was with Angel Hayes, in fact. So there you've got like this beautiful young girl beside you. So and then this guy, like, because I'm playing heel as well, this guy took it upon himself to call me fat in front of everyone at the show. Oh, well, you're fat. You don't know my struggles.
Yeah.
So
And
just think before you say anything. Like, you don't know what a person's going through.
yeah.
I just sat out hearing that.
No, I'm glad like you've come from the other side. And like obviously this podcast's probably taking turns. We started off with gaming and and the wrestling,
Yeah.
but I think it is something that needs publicly spoken about. I am a content creator in Australia called Josh. He does like a Josh Robinson 00 network, and he wanted me on one of his shows because I used to do motivational speaking. I used to travel around the UK to speak about depression, mental health, and trying to get past it all. And I know this interview is about you, not about me, but I thought whilst we're on the topic of like mental health, it is something. And even for those of you that are fans that are listening and you're getting derogatory comments from other fans at shows, it's not something that shouldn't happen. Like one of my friends, she was bulimic and she had sexual assault as well, and she's not here now because of that. And so
Hear that.
yeah, it's difficult. She couldn't come from the other side when she helped me during all my stuff. Like I've been in hospital from trying it, and that was a few years ago now. Like I'm away from that, but you do get it at shows where I'm probably overdressed at shows. I reckon. Like, I wear nice trousers. I'll make sure I'm always looking smart. Sometimes if I'm wearing a wrestler's merch, it'll be with like smart casual trousers and a decent jacket, and you'd get some snide comments, and it's like, look, mate, you're in your tracksuit. Like I know which one I'd rather wear,
Yeah.
but
Nothing wrong with taking pride in your appearance.
Exactly. But it's like what you said, where you don't know what people are going through, and I've called up even like friends where you might see them around town and they're like, bloody hell, mate, you've put weight on, and it's like you don't. It's been a tough like 3, 4, 5 years. Like I used to play football. I used to be a professional football coach when I started training way back when, and then I got injured playing football. So it was painful to coach. It was definitely painful to training. So I just stopped the training.
Yeah.
And then with the depression, the weight came on. So it is one of those, you don't know what people are going around, and a lot of people use wrestling as an escape. I think both fans and performers.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be somewhere people are using it as a way to make themselves feel better but no, if you are struggling, like reach out to myself, like
Reach out as well.
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk to anyone that's feeling a certain way. That's why I did the video.
Yeah. And people should know that you're not alone. It's okay to talk. It's not a sign of weakness just because it's a health condition. Sometimes you physically can't see, or if you can see the changes, it's not always because that's mental health. Just because of that doesn't mean it's less important than anything else that is happening, or any other health condition. I work try and find, I can't say the real job, not allowed, but I try and help people find work. So I work with people with a lot of different health conditions and stuff, and like, well, I'm not taking tablets, but why not? If that's what helps you, or I'm not doing counselling, why not? If that helps you, like if you've got a broken leg, you're going to take painkillers and you're going to do physio. So just see the medication as the painkillers and the counselling as your physio, and try and get yourself sorted. Anyways, let's try and get back to wrestling. But so you've been going for what, 10 years since you started training. You've gone from Baby Beach to the Wrestle Beach, and you've become double champion at the moment. you've got the W3L Championship and UCW. So we'll talk about W3L because is that your second reign with the title?
Yes, that's my second reign.
Yeah.
I won it from my WrestleMa, as I call her, Jayla Dark.
You've just got Wrestle Pals, Wrestle Beach, WrestleMa.
That's it. I need to keep the wrestling thing going. That's my brand, you know.
Yeah. But what was it like when they first told you, like, look, we want to make you champion. You're gonna like present the brand.
Well, funnily enough, the first time that I won the belt, I didn't really react. It was kind of like, because when I won the belt first time, that was when I was going through like the worst year of my life, as I call it. That was the year that I fell into so much weight, and I had a lot of like personal issues that had happened to my anxiety and depression. And yes, so when they first told me you're going to go on, funnily enough, I was wrestling Jayla Dark then as well, because it was like a tournament style that they did for the belt. Eva Owens that had it, and then she got injured, the knee injury from the knee,
Yeah.
and yeah, so they were doing a tournament, and it was between myself and Jayla, and they told me I was going to the belt, and yeah, I just remember feeling like, and that was my genuine reaction because I just wasn't all there
Yeah.
in my head. I had a lot of other things that I was going through, but when I got the belt, and I remember this, I got the belt and I was sitting backstage, and I'm holding the belt and looking at it, and I thought to myself that take this as a sign that better things have come. That you need to try to think more. Basically, you need to get your life on track. That
Yeah.
take this as a sign to get your life on track. This is the start. And I looked at that belt and I thought, if I want to be a champion, as you say, if I want to represent the company, I'm going to look like a champion. So after that, I was in the gym constantly. I changed up my diet. I actually went to Yes to Greece, in fact, and
Oh.
a workout plan. So
Yeah.
and through that, I lost bone and I put on muscle as well.
Oh, wow.
Actually, you can see from like my funny promo pictures because I've not worn a two-piece in about 2016. That's how long ago. And yeah, so I thought I want to look like a champion. I want to represent the brand properly. This brand has done a lot for me.
Yeah.
It's the least I can do, and then I did. And I didn't really react properly until like, the second time I won the belt, and that's when I actually cried.
Oh.
I
What?
got backstage and I cried.
How come you cried at that one then? Is it
Um,
because you was in a better mindset, or?
yeah, I would say there's a lot of reasons why I cried. Like if you if you look up the footage, you'll see me crying because this was Jayla's last match in Scotland, and I got to be her last match in Scotland. So
Yeah.
that's sentimental value. So as soon as the bell went, I started crying before they even gave me the belt. And I just took one look at her across the thing. My wrestling mom's retiring. And so I was like bawling because of that. And then I got backstage and I went to go get changed in the bathroom and just kind of felt for 15 minutes to sit down. And I just thought to myself, wow, this stuff is something. Like you said, you were going to get in shape. You were going to sort out your personal life. You were going to get everything on track.
Yeah.
You did not feel worthy of this belt until you got everything on track. And then I did, and that was when I started crying. So yeah, full circle moment. I was in a better place, and I felt like I deserved all of it.
Yeah. What about like with UCW then? 'Cause that's Sunderland.
Yeah.
So you wrestle Newcastle, you wrestle Sunderland, so very northeast, very close to Scotland, and then you've done like trips to Northern Ireland, as you mentioned. Like, so what is there a difference that it's a different country and that they're wanting you to represent the brand?
Well, with UCW, I was really happy at the fact that I was getting the belt, but it wasn't just like, yay, another belt to add to the collection. I get to stop selling my good belt. No, what it was Lucy Cole, who is a fellow graduate, she was actually their first champion, and I thought this is awesome. Like we get to say that there's been two girls from the PCW Academy that held this belt, and I got to wrestle the lovely Gia Adams for it as well, who I can't emphasise how much of a lovely girl she is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being trusted by another brand, especially because I'm not local to them, I live in Scotland, as you said, being trusted by UCW to carry that belt and to represent them, I'm really happy that they thought that highly of me. And I've always got plenty of time for UCW. Like I always message the promoters, and like when I started Ask Advice Speech, for example, I messaged the promoters and I was like, hey guys, like I'm doing these videos and I'm putting the belt in the background as well, just so I can promote the company a little bit more. And
No, good.
And my friend Bobby Roberts that runs Respect,
Yeah.
whenever I'm wrestling on Respect, I always ask him like, can I bring out the belts as well, just to represent the companies a little bit? And then like sometimes Bobby will just let me defend them as well, just to add a little bit more social media.
Yeah. No, 100%. You've crashed. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it crashed a little bit again then.
Ah, there we go.
Your face went. That was the face I was just pulling out.
Did I try and reenact it?
Yeah.
Like...
You know what? I'm not even going to edit that one out. Everyone can just witness that. Like we're recording, so technical issue. Yeah, technical issue. That can be the thumbnail.
You edit that out, I'd be very angry.
What was that?
I said if you edit that out, I'm gonna be very angry.
No, I'll keep it. I might just put like a big smiley emoji over my face though, but it'll be fine. So obviously you're very busy over Scotland, and I think a lot of Scotland companies in Scotland don't get the recognition or the publicity they deserve. That maybe in the UK, there's quite a few different companies where fans will travel all over, and that might be the same for those that are living in Scotland. But you've got PBW, you've got These Females, you've got ICW, and they tend to be the ones that people mainly pay attention to. But you're traveling here, there, and everywhere, 6-7 different companies. What would you say to other fans to check out these companies in Scotland?
What other companies would I say to check out? Well,
And
of course,
why?
I'm gonna say W3L because represents the belt and that, like like hashtag recipe. So obviously I'm gonna say W3L. But again, I've previously mentioned them. Respect Pro Wrestling, little company that's kind of slowly built itself up into this amazing thing. It was always Bobby's dream. Like, shout out Bobby, hi Bobby. It was always Bobby's dream to be able to do a company like that, and he's made it into this amazing thing, and he's got a lot of amazing the actual school.
Yeah.
He does a training school as well, and so Respect, W3L, Reckless Intent. I would also shout out them. They've given me a lot of really good opportunities. I'm so sorry, by the way, anyone that I've not mentioned. I'm like actually just trying to think at the top of my head. Discovery Wrestling. Big shout out to Discovery. Anytime that I had an idea for a promo, the promoter Alan, shout out Alan. I'm just giving him a shout out now. Anytime I had an idea, like a stupid idea for a promo, Alan was always like, go for it. Go for it. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Because I think it was the Disco Derby. Yeah, I debuted that. That was going to be my Discovery debut. And I asked Alan, because he said to all the girls at the Derby, if you could all just do like a traditional Royal Rumble thing, like, hey, I'm so and so, and this is why I'm going to win the Derby. And I'm like, can I not do that? So I thought, I really want to think outside the box. Like,
Yeah.
ONLAP can do more than that. So I ended up doing a promo as if I was being caught off guard and I didn't know the camera was rolling. I'm like, I'm totally not going to win this. Like, see if I get into the final four, I'm just going to be happy with that. But and then they done just kind of a taking the mickey because it was my mates for training that helped me film it, and they're like, "Oh, Emily, the camera's rolling." I'm like, right, and then I did the whole, "My name is Emily, and I'm gonna win stars because of the." That good? Like, is that the final take? And it kind of it took off from there for Discovery.
What? So you mentioned like you come up with some like stupid ideas for promos and stuff. Is there been one where they're like, "Yep, go do it," and then you've said it and thought, "Oh, I really don't know what I'm doing. Why am I saying this?"
There's been quite a few like that, believe it or not. There's one that I did with Christopher Saint, who's one of my really good friends in wrestling, and we had to do a promo for Cave Nest Pro Wrestling, and it was the first time we were ever going to tag, so that was kind of a good part of the Sensational Scene Birds. And we had this stupid concept in our mind that, all right, let's do a promo about how we're trying to find the venue, but we can't find the venue. So we filmed it while we were at Respect Pro Wrestling, and it was at Loch Winnock, and the whole promo is us standing in a field, and I'm just going, it says on my phone, it says on Google Maps, and then we're just like totally improv and everything, and you can see like the two of us like breaking like in the video, and we just kept it. We're like, this is too funny, and you can see the two of us laughing at each other because we don't know what the other one's going to say. So when I hit out with, it says on my phone, it says on Google Maps, like you can see Chris in the video, and he's just like covering his mouth, and he's just looking, and he's shaking his head, and he's trying not to laugh. And then after we filmed it, the two of us just looked at each other and we're like, we're gonna put that up, but what the hell were we saying in this? Like, what are people gonna say when they see this? And Lucha DS, who was our opponent in that tag match, actually came up to us and was like, me and Sammy just went, nah, we're not filming a promo, we can't beat that.
Now, somebody else that I know you recently faced her at FTW, and it was how it can't, I'm on about now.
Yeah.
And it was kind of how we got this one set up. I interviewed her for Ringsiders. Aisha Raymond, like your big sis, your wrestle sis.
My wrestle sis.
How did you and Aisha like meet and get so close then?
Well, funnily enough, it's from that company that I previously mentioned, Reckless Intent. I think that's one of the reasons why I got a couple of opportunities with them, because I don't mean like because Aisha's like gave me a pension or anything.
Yeah.
Nothing like that of the sort. It was they asked me to come in for a debut. I think it was like when Rick 2018. Aisha will probably correct me if I'm wrong, but the first time we ever wrestled each other definitely was a Reckless Intent show, and just I think it was the first time we actually properly spoke as well. Sometimes we would see each other backstage at shows,
Yeah.
and that was kind of it. We were both very shy. Now that I look back on it, but yeah. So we wrestled each other in Reckless, and it just chemistry. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think that's how she and I became really good friends. And
Yep. Have you
she
played
loved-
Red Dead with her?
Sorry?
Have you played Red Dead with her yet online?
No, like I've heard everything that she said about Red. She even messaged me like threatening to stay with it and that. So
She seems very angry with Red Dead, and yeah, I'm probably not going to play it again just in case.
see, I would play it, but it'd be like one of those ones where I probably like set myself to online so she doesn't know more.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'd be like, oh no, Aisha's hunting me in Red Dead. Like I can't get away. Stop the
So, with Aisha, like, what makes you have such good chemistry in the ring then, and chemistry like outside the ring?
I think it's because anytime like one of us has an idea, the other one just like, okay, that's it. And funnily enough, we actually found out after the first match we had so much in common. Like at the time, I was wearing purple gear, purple and black, and she was wearing purple and black. I think she still has purple and black no matter what. But anyway, And I said to her, like, oh yeah, I wish I come back because fucking Prince, 'cause I love Prince. She's
Okay.
like, I love Prince too. And it was that moment, you know, like in Step Brothers, where it's like, did we just become best friends? So we found out that we loved Prince, that our favourite colour was purple. Found out that we both loved video games, that kind of really took off from there. So, and then it just ended up that way where no matter what, I was always kind of in a match with Aisha somehow. Especially when I would go to Reckless, because the singles match that I did with her. Then I did a triple threat, and it just kept going like that. And then of course Full Tilt, when we got to wrestle each other, which I was so excited for. And little side note about that match, so we found out that we were going to wrestle each other, I think it was like November. So the match was in February the following year, and we found out in November. And Aisha and I were like, we really need to step up our matches. Like, we know it's so good. So for about a good solid month or two, we were practicing the match. Like over the Christmas holidays, we're flinging each other about, and because I kept saying to her, like, I really want to try some technical wrestling. I really want to try and do that with you. And she's like, yeah, let's do that. So we were practicing in the respect ring, because Bobby was nice enough to let us borrow the ring for a bit.
Yeah.
And it was DCT and Bobby, and the two of them were helping us. They're like, well, Aisha, you're a big girl, you should be doing this to Emily. And they're like, Emily, you should be doing this to Aisha because you're trying to wear her down and that. And two of us are standing there, we're like, whoa, we never thought of that. So we ended up putting on if I do say so myself, a stormer of a match at Full Tilt. I was very proud of that match. And yeah, the chemistry has just always been there. Like, I think when you're really good friends with someone, it always helps with wrestling.
So do you think it's something destined where down the road it's just going to be you two? Like, obviously she's working in Japan. Is that something that's on your goals, like to go out to Japan and maybe work with or against Aisha?
Yes, that is the dream. We have spoken about this several times. She keeps saying to me, like, I need to totally get you over to Japan, and you need to come with me. And she's done like 6 months stints and that over there, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely, but I'm not going over for 6 months. But yeah, we've spoken about it often enough. We absolutely are dying to work each other, whether it be with each other or against each other in Japan, because Japan's always been a goal of mine.
Why is Japan a goal then?
I'm trying to think of the nicest way to say it, but you know what? Growing up, I'm a big Japanophile. That's just that. Let's just call it spade a spade. I grew up before I even discovered the wrestling scene out there. I grew up obsessed with culture. It's where a lot of my favourite animes came from, video games, what are the styles, because when I was younger, I used to be obsessed with the Lolita style, and I've actually got a couple of the old books, like the magazines from Japan style, and manga and whatnot. I've always been obsessed with that, and the movies, like Battle Royale, is one of my all-time favourite books, and it's from Japan. So, but then I found out about the wrestling scene over there, and I was just like, wow, I love the Joshi style of wrestling. And so it's always been a dream of mine, and like those aspects, and other aspects, it's when I saw the likes of Kaylee Ray, who's a fellow graduate at the Academy. I'd love to follow her footsteps and go over to Japan. I'd love to follow my WrestleMa's footsteps and go over to Japan, because Jayla went over and worked with Ice Ribbon. And of course, my wrestle sis as well, Aisha. I'd love to follow in her footsteps, go to Japan as well. There's a lot of people that I look up to that have travelled there, and the stories that they have told me about working over there, it's just really motivating me to there someday.
I just feel like you would not make any money out there because you would just be spending it on everything. I know.
Funnily enough, Aisha said that about me too. She's like, on our days off, you would just end up going off and spending all your money.
It'd be great for entertainment, but it wouldn't be a good business decision.
Knowing me, if that ever happens and I do end up spending all my money, I'm probably just gonna go, that's a future Emily problem.
Yep. Nah, I'm the same with that. I get like a few people that will message me and they'll do gifts where it's something similar and like, this is you. And it's, who needs money? Like, look, if you're earning money, you should be enjoying it. Like, not waiting for a rainy day, because if a rainy day comes, deal with it then. And then,
Exactly.
yeah. But, so, is there anybody other than Aisha that you want to get in the ring with out in Japan?
Out in Japan. Originally I would have said Hikaru Shida, but she's at AEW now.
Yeah.
That's usually my go-to answer.
What
But
is it about Shida that stands out?
I love her strikes. I'm a big fan of strikes. Strikes are my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why myself and Jayla are so close as well, because we'll just knock lumps out at each other. Same with me and Aisha, knock lumps
Yeah.
at each other, and we won't even go backstage and be like, sorry. It's just like, just it, family.
Yeah.
Families hit each other. But yeah, Shida, it was always the style that drew me in. I was obsessed with the fact that she would come out with the kendo stick. I don't know why, I was just always obsessed with it. And recently on AEW as well, this intensified my love of Shida more. She came out dressed like Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, when she was against Nyla Rose for the AEW Women's Belt. And I was just like, I love Shida even now. And I love her, that's it. But yeah, it was always her strike ability that really drew me to her. That girl just leads them in, and I really feel like, in terms of strikes, she and I would have an amazing match in that aspect.
So, what about the tours then? You said you wouldn't want to do like a 6-month stint. Would you be wanting 1 month, 2, 3 months?
Yeah, like I always said, I would do like 3 months at the most. Obviously, if I could work it with my shoot job.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would be more than happy to do that. But the idea of going over for half a year, like, so much that you can miss in half a year, and obviously I've got my life here and I've got things going on, so I don't think I can commit to 6 months.
Yeah.
3, absolutely, but 6 months, there's a whole lot that you can miss in 6 months. So, and from stories that Aisha told me about her 6 months as well, not that there was anything wrong with her 6 months, I want to reiterate that. It was just the way that she was telling them to me, I was like, yeah, I don't think I can commit to that.
Yeah.
Just in terms of my job and whatnot, though. That's literally it.
No, 100%. And you mentioned earlier that she threatens Thirsty, the Toaster. Now, I don't really know the story behind this. I just see like a random toaster, and I was watching one video where you walking on the toaster watching toast being made, maybe something like that. Like, what's with this toaster called Thirsty?
So, do you want the kayfabe story, or do you want the real story behind the conception? Because I can give you both.
Do it both.
Right. So the kayfabe story is, I was in about a year-long feud with Sammy Joe, as I previously mentioned, at Fierce Females, and we're getting to like the boiling point of the feud, because the night before, she was wrestling at Source, and she was wrestling against her now husband, Matt Daly, and he proposed to her that night, and the following night was Fierce Female. So I asked her, because it's supposed to be that I interrupted her match again, because it was just this constant thing where I would interrupt her matches or attack her or whatnot. So this was getting to the boiling point, and I asked her, would it be okay if I just made fun of the fact that you're engaged now? And she said, yep, go for it. So I think this was a match we were building up to. That's why I was doing the constant run-ins. So yeah, at the start of the match I said, can I do a fake proposal to you and then just like insult you after, and then we can go into the match? Because Sammy and I, because we've done so many matches together, we were like, we need to do it different every time. So we were like, let's try and do this one a little bit more submission based. Let's try and do this one a more strike based. So that one wanted to make it more brawly and striky. And that's what we said. That's a good start, like if I make fun of her at the start and then we get a really good goal, we wanted that story. And so I got down on one knee and I'm saying to her, like, will you marry me? And she's like, she's like, fair play to her, it was amazing. I was trying not to laugh. But she's like, oh my goodness. and then I got off and I'm just like, just kidding. Who would want to marry an ugly cow like you? So after that, the promoter, no, I was going to say it was Nevada, but it was Vicky came up to me one day and he said, you know, I had this really funny idea, Annie. And I was like, go on. Funny idea, go on. And he said, the idea of you two doing an I Quit match that's wedding themed. And he was like, yes, we will do that. That sounds good. And so we got the go ahead for it, and the story was it was building up to whoever loses that match is fired, and whoever wins won for a title shot at the IT belt. And it was, so I'd known for a while that I was gonna get fired and stuff, and we thought, yeah, it's an I Quit match, but it's wedding themed, so of course you're expecting it. And Sammy and I were messaging each other back and forth about I and that. So Sammy messaged me one day and she was like, what's the most common present you get? And I was like, oh my god, a toaster. So we came up with the idea of having a toaster in the match. So for anyone, I would totally recommend going and watching this match. Like if you just want a funny match to watch. We've done a spot, we're hitting each other with bouquets and stuff, and you know, like in the matches where it was like so intense as well, and then like the wrestlers break apart and go into the ring and start about wrestling. We just like done a take of that. So we broke apart, going under the ring. She's like heavy, and we're like, yeah, pull out a bouquet. And so we go in, we had our bouquets, and then we done a spot that involved. She actually she made this amazing. A customized glitter chair. It was white with glitter on it, and it was so Sammy. And I said, let's do a spot where I put like a gift bag in, and it's just this is wedding on it or something. I'm like, what is this? Like, I've not even opened. What is that? So she's getting up the chair shot, and she's like, oh. She goes to hit me, so I feel like I'm holding the bag to this to cover me, and we done what it bounced off the chair hit her instead. So I'm in the ring and I'm kind of like, oh, what is this? I'm throwing it like tissue paper. It's a toaster! It's a toaster! And then I turned around to Sean McLaughlin that was reffing, and I said to him, Sean, you shouldn't have gotten me this toaster. It's a wonderful present. And Sean's just looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about? And then all you hear from the sideline, Simon Cassidy, the MC, goes, it was a gift from the both of us. So that's the case. I got toasted Sean McLaughlin, Simon Cassidy. So the shoot story is so after like the whole we get fired thing, it was Nevada asked me if I'd like to do a promo, and I said yeah, can I do it about how I'm supposed to be fired for your emails? And she said do that. So I filmed it, and I think it was like the night before I was watching Blonde, which is it's like rom-coms and stuff. I'll get like ideas from that. And I was watching Legally Blonde, and there was a scene in it right at the start where her and her boyfriend break up, and she's lying in bed and she's watching like some and she's yeah, and so wants to stop it for it. And I thought I want that to be my promo. So in the promo, I'm lying in bed and I'm feeling sorry for myself. And at the time, before Shooter Productions was filming, shout out Shooter, that's Baila's husband. But yeah, so before I started going to Shooter Productions for all my stuff, shout out to them, by the way, if you ever need promo done, I recommend them for something. And it was my friend Ashley that I previously mentioned. She helped me, and she wasn't feeling very well that day, and I think she was having a flare up. She suffered from fibromyalgia. So she disappeared to the bathroom, and I thought, make her laugh. How can I do that? So I started looking about the room, and in the corner, just the mat. So I grabbed the toaster and I put like this big panda onesie on, and I got into bed and I'm lying in bed and I put the toaster under my arm, and I've got the laptop on, chocolate, lying in bed and waiting on her to come in, and then she walks in, and she cannot stop laughing, and I turned to her and I said, "Do you think we should do the promo like this?" And she said, "Absolutely, 100%." That was how Toasty ended up becoming an actual character, just from me trying to make my friend laugh.
Yeah, it was convincing. Just the one with where it's watching the TV and it's like, what are you doing?
I said, like, because my boyfriend was a good sport and he actually helped me film it.
It was as if he caught him watching Babe Station with a toaster watching Toasty.
That was exactly the premise that I wanted to go for, and and I remember when we were filming it, I turned around to my boyfriend and I said to him, like, when I'm editing it, I think I'm just gonna leave. I just want it so awkward, like your mum just walked in and caught you watching Babe Station.
Oh, amazing. So, other than like, is there going to be a female toaster coming on? Like, it's clearly lonely. It's watching toast porn and stuff. Like,
Hey! I'm his best friend. How dare you? He's not lonely.
it
Although he
needs
like,
toast that.
Uniform, but we'll not get into that. Irish hussy. Just kidding. Kinda.
But no, I think Toasty needs a girlfriend.
I think I'm enough for Toasty, but thanks for that.
See, that can be the next skit. It's got a female toaster next to it, and you're like, just going mental because you've walked in on Toaster with another toaster.
I had this idea for a promo, and it was going to be like I was going to walk into the kitchen and Toasty was just like sitting beside my actual toaster, and I was just going to make that one a female one. And just be
Do
like,
it.
what are you doing?
Do it. So, what's like we've spoke about Japan, but what other goals have you got in wrestling? Obviously, NXT UK's now a thing. All of a sudden, WWE's become more attainable for people across in the United Kingdom and Ireland. What are your goals left in wrestling?
My goals left in wrestling. Oh, well, I would like to keep it more out to Ireland. I definitely want to do that. A goal of mine that I still to achieve as well is being able to venture somewhere within Europe, so like a France or a Germany, or something like that in wrestling. I've not done that yet. Of course, Japan, that's a goal. There's still a couple of women that I would really love to work as well. So those are goals of mine.
Who like?
Well, I got a chance to wrestle her once, and here we go. She's now my wrestle daughter. So, Chantal Jordan.
Yeah.
She's a good girl. I love that girl to bits. Same again. It was just the first time that we met and we wrestled. There was just that chemistry, and we've just remained close since.
Yeah.
And so I really want to work with her more. Excuse me, because she's someone that's got a very good striking style and submission based style, and it was good to be able to mix it up with her.
Yeah.
And a goal of mine is to actually be able to do some sort of like submission style match with her, because this beach actually learned a couple of submissions here and there, so that I could keep up with her. But so yeah, that's a major goal of mine, to be able to work Chantal, because she is an amazing worker. For those of you that did not see the match, I would totally recommend watching Chantal Jordan versus Giselle Shaw at Fierce Females. One of the best matches I've ever seen. Honestly, the storytelling in it,
No, Giselle's great as well as Chantel. When did I interviewed Giselle, I think last year, and it was when she first came to the UK, and she was doing some stuff with WrestleGate. And then every time I'd see her at a different show, she's like, "Hey," she's like, what about the match and stuff like that." And
lovely is she, by the way? Like she honestly, she's so lovely.
So nice. I remember, I think it was the Ungovernable show, Rev Pro in Manchester, and she'd been in a multi-woman match, and I'd seen her afterwards, and she's like, "Hey," so as I've like kind of gone over, because I think she was just getting ready to do her meet and greets and stuff, and somebody was like, "No, you've got to get in line and pay." She was like, "No, I know him," and came over and give a hug and stuff, and she was just like, she was lovely. And it's great to see like how well she's been doing. Have you been in the ring with Giselle?
No, I've not had that privilege yet, but I really hope that I get the chance to. She's another one that's on the list of ladies that I would love to wrestle. I just remembered another goal of mine as well. Pro Wrestling Eve. That's always been a dream of mine. To be able to pick that one off the list. So yeah. Hopefully I get to wrestle Giselle on Pro Eve. That would be awesome.
I'll get the tweets going out. We'll try and make it happen.
Yeah.
So, thanks for coming on. I think we've spoken about everything. It's going to be fun editing this one. And we'll have to do it again. I think there's so much more that we could talk about, but I've promised myself I'm going to stop doing like 3-hour interviews. Some people I just start talking to, and I'm like, right, I've got to try and factor in where I can make an organic break to make this part 1 and a part 2. And it's so much work. But you mentioned like Dark Phoenix and stuff earlier, so clearly superhero fan, and that'd be another topic for discussion. Like,
well, there is a comic book character where I do get one of my traits, my character from, so be able to delve into that another time.
So tempted to ask, but no, I'm not going to. But no, that can be something we'll touch upon again in the future. Just let people know, where can they support you, where can they find you and watch Toasty the Toaster watching toast porn.
If you want to see the toaster watching toast porn, no. Here we go. This is when I need to try and remember everything at the top of my head. Yep. So take a deep breath. Find me on. Well, first of all, I'll go for the easy ones. Facebook, it's just Emily Hayden. You'll see this mug pop up, so you know it's mine. But I recently learned I share the same name as a fitness model in like America or something. So I'm like, a lot of people are going to be so disappointed. Sorry for anyone who's the fitness model. But yeah, Facebook, it's just Emily Hayden. This mug will pop up. But it is at Emily Hayden /UK. Instagram, it is /Emily Hayden /. My YouTube channel is just Emily Hayden, where you'll get videos of like sort of watching or me giving horrible advice. And recently my gaming content, which leads into the final one, my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/SpeechBeach_Emily Hayden. Yeah, I had to get into Speech.
Yep. See, you did well. You remembered everything, so that's good. And guys, I'd recommend definitely go check out the videos. I think I was watching one this morning, where it was wrestling pickup lines, and I thought that was very amusing. Just because you do see it. Like some of my female friends that are on things like Tinder, and they've put in the bio that they're interested in wrestling or even interested in Pokemon or whatever. The amount of different like cheesy wrestling or Pokemon related chat up lines they get, it's just so bad. Some of them I can't. I'm not even going to repeat some because people probably won't watch my show again. So they're that bad. But yeah, guys, that was the interview with Emily Hayden. Make sure you check her out. Make sure you check Toasty out as well. And if you've not already, make sure you follow me. I'd hit the subscribe button. See my series of interviews that I've been doing with Reach Wrestling down in the Southwest. And now I've kind of gone international. I've been doing a series of different interviews with Asian wrestling scenes. So I've done Shukat who's the owner of Malaysia Pro Wrestling and created the scene out there. You've had The Statement, Andrew Tang, who is creating the stuff in Singapore. Ho Ho Lun from Hong Kong. And there should be some more. By the time you're listening to this, there might be some more that I've recorded. So hit subscribe. Make sure you check out all the other interviews. And again, Emily, thank you for joining.
Thank you. International Beach. Oh.
International Beach.
Hashtag
Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Daddy.